Okay, yeah. So, the Druid cards came out. I'm doing this a little late because I was doing the next tier list video. Uh, it'll come out. I'll probably release it on Friday. Uh, I think doing one of them a week is probably what I should be doing. Anything more, I don't want to oversaturate it. And I want people to watch them, so doing them too fast is kind of a bad thing. So, yeah, it'll be coming about next Friday, like the last one came out. Anyway, 5, the Setting Sun. 9 mana, 4/12 dragon. Rush, Lifesteal Taunt. Cost 1 less for each dragon you summon this game. This card's fucking crazy, dude. Scale of Onyxia is already one of the best cards in Druid. So every time you play Scale, this card instantly costs 2 mana. That's nuts, dude. This card is fucking insane. Like, this will push Dragon Druid for sure. There's no way this card doesn't see play in Wild. It is very, very, very playable. Dragon Golem. Taunt. Battlecry, summon a copy of this for each dragon in your hand. Not only is this actually fucking absurd with hand buff, like, what's it called? Sorry, Survival of the Fittest. Why couldn't I think of that card? Like Survival of the Fittest was with, uh, Clowns, but this is 7 mana, dude. And it's effectively spreading Plague, right? Like, sure, it's +1 mana, but it's more stats than Plague. It's +1 stat over Plague. It's You don't have to only play it as a reactionary card. This card is also incredibly powerful. This will be playable in Wild, no question. Okay. Splish Splash Whelp. 2 mana, 2/1 dragon. Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain an empty mana crystal. So this is Breath of Dreams, but instead of drawing you a card, it gives you a 2/1, which about the same value. This card, of course, is going to be seeing play in Dragon Druid. You're never not running this in Dragon Druid. Uh, and of course, you're going to be playing Breath of Dreams in Dragon Druid. So, of course, this card is incredibly, incredibly powerful. Dragon Druid is incredibly hype. I love that archetype. I loved playing it in Standard when it came out the first time during Descent of Dragons. And I think this is a push in the right direction for where Druid should be going. Druid should get away from these degenerate fucking cards, like degenerate best board clear, degenerate mana cheat, all this stuff, to, ramp into playing big fucking fuck you minions, and that's how they win. They ramp, they get big fuck you minions, and you win by them not getting this card consistently, because it's not consistent to get this. There's no tutors for it. But yeah, and you win by OTKing them, right? That's how you should be beating Druid. You can go under them and you can go over them. You shouldn't be beating Druid in a value game because they're big minions and shit like that. Sorry, I'm a little overhyped by these cards. They're just really interesting. I like them a lot. But yeah, that's how Druid should be as a class, and I'm happy that we're going in this direction. So I really like this card, and I'm happy that it's getting printed. Cactus Construct. Discover a 2-cost minion, summon a 1/2 copy of it. This card's pretty bad, all things considered. In Standard, it might be a little bit better because the pool is smaller, but this card doesn't really do anything. You could argue this card is decent in, like, Token Druid, right? Because getting a 1 mana 1/2 with likely a very good effect because it's a 2-drop is pretty good, and you get the 2 mana minion in your hand, so it is value. Token Druid isn't very good right now, but this card probably would slot into any Token Druid that does come out in the future. So I'm going to give this an unplayable currently, but it might be good eventually. Spinetail Drake. If you're holding a dragon, deal 5 damage to an enemy minion. Of course, this card synergizes incredibly well with all the dragon cards. It's incredibly pushed. This is really strong effect. So this card will see play. I think all of the dragons are going to be playable, all things considered. So this card is good. It might be the worst dragon. It might not make the cut, actually, now that I think about it, but I don't see a world where this is a bad card, but there might be better cards than this one, if you understand what I'm saying. Ray Straza. 8 mana, 8/8, Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, summon Purified Dragon Nest. What the Purified Dragon Nest is, it takes up a slot on your board. At the start of your turn, discover a dragon. It costs 4 or less, and this is a slot that is always taken up. Uh, this is really good in Reno Druid because Reno Druid is all about, infinite value and all that, and this card is great value for that deck. I don't think you're ever going Dragon Reno Druid, like to try and abuse dragon stuff, I think this card just slots in Reno Druid on its own because this card counter synergizes with a lot of the dragon cards. Um, like Scale of Onyxia, this card makes Scale of Onyxia worse. This card makes Dragon Golem worse, or whatever it's called. Actually, it's right here. Yeah, Dragon Golem makes this card worse. It's not a bad card by any means. It doesn't slot into the theory of the new dragon druid that's going to be coming out. It's very bad in that deck. Obviously, it's also a Highlander deck card, so you can't run it in that anyway. But this is a fine card. It probably won't be playable in Wild, but I would play Reno Druid if you've never played it before. It's an incredibly fun deck. But yeah, I don't think this card sees very much play in Wild outside of Reno Druid, and Reno Druid is obviously not very good, so yada yada. There we go. Dragon Tales. 2 mana, choose one. Get 2 dragons that cost 5 or less, or get 2 dragons that cost 5 or more. Yeah, this card's not very good. As you can even see here, these are all the dragons that are in standard currently that, makes sense. Cheap dragons are pretty mediocre. Like, Starlight Whelp is good. A Razor Scale is good. Amalgamate Deep is good. This would be good to discover. This would be good to discover, that one. But they're not good overall, especially because Wild, they're even worse. And 5 more cost more dragons in Wild are really bad. Like, most of these are bad, and these are just the standard ones. I don't think you ever run this card in a Dragon Druid. It seems pretty terrible. This card doesn't help the Dragon Druid game plan even, because Dragon Druid wants to ramp and then play its very specifically picked good dragons to help it get to that like late game plan where you get like Ysera, and then every single turn you're summoning a new big dragon because of Ysera, and your opponent just can't deal with it. Or you have, Thorbalor, or Topiar, sorry, which is right here, and you're gonna keep summoning, Whelps every single time you play a nature spell. This isn't a nature spell either, so it doesn't have any synergy with that game plan. So I don't think this card sees any play whatsoever. Yeah, this card is what really is pushing Dragon Druid. Desert Nest Matron. 4 mana, 3/5, Taunt Dragon. Battle Cry, if you're holding a dragon, refresh 4 mana crystals. 0 mana, 3/5, Taunt Dragon, dude. This card is insanely strong. Like, it's not strong in the way that if you don't build your deck around it, you can splash it in anything, or strong in the way that it, like, just wins you the game. It's strong in the way that it's just so many fucking stats that your opponent, like, has a hard time dealing with it, which allows you to do all your ramping and all that. This card is 100% going to be playable in Wild. Dragon Druid will be a good deck in Wild. Like, that's just not a lie. That is just a fact. Dragon Druid is going to be a deck in Wild because of how strong these dragons are. And I'm all for it. Dragon Druid is going to lose to Hunter. Like, that's just going to happen. Hunter can get under this Dragon Druid shell, and because of, Dread Scale, Serpent Bloom, Hunter doesn't have to worry about these, like, giant dragon boards at all. So I'm fine. I'm okay with these cards, and I like playing them. I'm genuinely excited to play Druid for actually the first time ever. If that says anything, right? Like, I am very excited for these cards. Take to the Skies. 3 mana, draw 2 dragons, give them +1/+1. Obviously, this card gets played. If you're playing Dragon Druid, this card's obviously getting played. It synergizes incredibly well with the Nest Matron card that I just talked about because it gives that more stats and already costs 0 mana, and it curves right into it. Incredible. These cards are so great. Card is obviously going to be playable. Rehydrate. 2 mana, restore 7 health, quick draw, refresh 2 mana crystals. I wish this said quick draw anything else. I don't like this card. I really don't like it. I don't think it pushes anything interesting in Druid because it is a spell that refreshes itself, right? It just pushes the degenerate Druid combos that we all hate. And it's a step in the wrong direction, even though, 9 of the cards that Druid got this expansion are really good steps in the right direction for the class. This card is 1 step backwards, right? Sure, it's like 2 steps forwards, 1 step back, right? But I don't like this card. It might be playable in Wild. It probably won't be because the currently, like Auctioneer Druid stuff doesn't work currently. I say currently, but it'll eventually work again, and we're all going to suffer for it, and this will be a card in that deck. So, yeah, I don't like this card. It's currently unplayable anyway, but I really am upset that Blizzard didn't learn from their own mistakes that they just changed. Like literally, as I am saying this 2 days ago, they changed. They like had to nerf Druid. So I don't like this. I really am upset with this card. Yeah, so tell me what you think, right? Do you like these new Druid cards? I really love the new like Desert Nest Matron card. I think it's a great card. I think it's going to be playable. I think it pushes a great archetype in Druid. I think it pushes Ramp Druid with minions rather than Ramp Druid with like OTK. I think it's great. I'm excited for this expansion just to play these cards, honestly. Yeah, if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about them below if I'm right or wrong. I'll check you guys out next time. Peace.